What's going on, everyone? Kellen here from The Savvy Couple. Today we have a much requested video on Pinterest training and the strategy that we used when we used Tailwind. We did come from using Board Booster, which it worked really well. It was kind of a set it and forget it, so you could save a ton of time doing that. But unfortunately, they got shut down from doing some sketchy stuff. And so we're going to go over our Tailwind strategy and kind of an overview on what it takes to be successful on Pinterest. We definitely think it's the best social media platform to use as a new blogger and bloggers in general, just to drive traffic. It's a visual search engine compared to Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, where you're kind of throwing your stuff at people, hoping that they see it and they click through to it. Pinterest, like I said, is a search engine, so people are searching and looking for answers to their questions and their needs. So you can kind of get in front of them that way, which is a little less aggressive. So I'm just going to go ahead and minimize this a little bit and get started with our training here. So we're The Savvy Couple. We have a Pinterest account that's getting close to 10,000 followers. We've been blogging for a little over 2 years. Well, it's probably 2 years and 6 months now. And we've had some really good success. We drive close to 100,000 page views a month. We've had months where it's well over that. And it's just a strategy that we've been using for quite some time. And it kind of carries over to any type of strategy, which I'll talk about in 1 second. But just a forewarning, any type of marketing whatsoever on any type of social media platform, you need to have your own strategy. Your audience is going to be different than mine, and mine is different than other people's. So just copying someone and their entire strategy is not going to work for you. You need to figure out who your avatar is, who your audience is, and how to speak to those people to really be successful at marketing. So this is going to be like a general overview of what we do, and you can kind of pick and choose which parts of it are going to work for you and see if you can find success. But no one strategy is going to work for everyone. It's not cookie cutter like that. So I'm going to tell you the big overall picture of Pinterest. I'm a visual person, so I made a really stupid piece of paper here. But it says Pinterest success at the top, and all you need are good pins and good group boards, group boards, tribes. So good pins, getting onto good, engaged click-throughs on boards that are relevant to the topic. And we'll come back to that. But basically making pins that people want to click through. They're engaged with them right off the bat when you first start pinning them. They're on relevant boards, which depends on the topic. And they're on group boards that are getting engagement. And just any type of board is getting engagement. And they're not just going onto a board and never getting seen or clicked through. And Pinterest is just going to devalue them quite a bit. You want it the other way. You want it, once you pin it, everyone likes it, and they're pinning it, and they're clicking through to it, and it's getting tons of engagement. That way, Pinterest can help make it go viral by putting it in the search and just putting it in suggested topics, and just keep that fire going when you get a viral pin. But let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to go over is our profile here. As you know, you got to have rich pins turned on. You should have a business account. This is kind of a more advanced training than if you're just first getting started. But you can get your, let's see here. I haven't done rich pins in forever, but you should be able, yeah, if you claim your website, I'm pretty sure that's how you get the rich pins. It's been 2 years, so I'm not the best at what we did in the beginning here. But make sure your account is all filled out. It's correct. You have a profile. Make sure that your title has your name in it and what you do. So when someone comes to your profile, they know exactly who you are and what you do. And write a little about us section. Make sure that it has keywords in it. So we're a personal finance and lifestyle blog. We help families manage their finances, lifestyle, freedom. This is all stuff that we know that our readers search for. So it's right in our profile. And let's go to boards here. We suggest having a best of board right on your first board. So that's like your best of board. So pins that go viral for you, pins that are getting engagement, articles that you're proud of, all that type of stuff should be going to your best of board. Now, we used to pin all of our stuff to that, but now we literally take it as it is. It's our best of board. So we don't pin articles to that never take off on Pinterest. We don't pin pins that are ugly looking. That's our best of pins. And so we keep the virality score of that pretty high. And then kind of your top 5 here, you want to make sure that it's your most relevant topics that you talk about. So we talk about making money, we talk about saving money, managing money, we talk about blogging, and then we have our group board DIY money hacks here. And then if you just keep going along, you can tell each one of these boards has a nice cover photo that someone is going to come and see, and it's going to appeal to them to want to click through and learn more about. I think it's very important to have good looking cover photos. And we kind of organized these, so now all of our group boards are at the bottom here. As you can tell, we are on a ton of group boards. I spent probably close to 40 hours of work building relationships and getting onto those group boards. We still see a lot of value in them, and I'll show you that in our Tailwind, that some of the group boards are absolutely killing it still. Pinterest has said that they're kind of devaluing group boards. I haven't seen that yet. So that's one of those things that your strategy is always going to constantly change, and you're going to have to shift and move and pivot. But for now, they're working for us. So I still think that it's worth reaching out to these group board owners, creating relationships, and requesting to get onto them. But I'm going to go ahead and click on like this one, right? Make money. So when you click on it, anyone that's looking for make money ideas or money making ideas, they're going to see right away that that's what this board is about. And we also we also have a nice description here that talks about making money, side hustling, work from home jobs, make money online, fast cash. So you make a nice board description with all those keywords and kind of just keep it going like that. I have noticed on this that this board looks pretty spammy, which I need to fix. But as you can tell, you can pin the same pin to boards often. This one's really bad. I'm actually glad I picked this up. So these should be spaced out far more. You shouldn't see the same type of pin on the same page. Like if you scroll down, it's fine to see it a couple times, but this one's pretty bad, which I need to go back through and fix. But as you can see, there were 24 clicks and 24 repins, 173 click-throughs. It's getting good impressions at 34. So all these have done pretty well. I don't see any. This one didn't do very well. But yeah, so back to just regular, I'll talk about all that. Back to regular Pinterest boards. So let's go slow and steady, slow cooker meals. Slow cooker recipes, dinner time, slow cooker recipes, crock pot recipes, easy slow cooker recipes, family meal. So all keywords that make sense in a nice board description that's going to tell people exactly what the board is about. Remember, Pinterest is a search engine, so keywords are very, very important. And that's pretty much it. So organize these, put your best of stuff at the top. So the stuff you talk about the most and you have the most content about, put that at the top. Nice board descriptions, nice profile descriptions, and then organize it so it's nice and clean looking and things are together. So like all of our personal finance stuff is in one line, and then we have home stuff, and then we have food. So it's all like connected and close together. And then I like putting our group boards at the bottom. So that's just a general overview of your Pinterest profile and how to make that work for you. And now we're going to talk about creating good looking pins. So we use Canva. We've used it for a while. You can also use PicMonkey. You can use PowerPoint. You can use Publisher. There's a bunch of different graphics design softwares, but we've found that Canva has worked best for us. And kind of just an overview. So our strategy with this, we always have at least 5 Pinterest images to pin to Pinterest every time we write an article. I'm way back. We're like 10 articles behind on this. So it does take time, but I do think it's pretty important to make sure that you're giving your pins a chance to get seen and a chance to get repinned and go viral. The more, the better. And if you have an article that is like a mega article on how to budget and you know it's good quality content and it just seems to not be able to take off on Pinterest, you can always every couple of months try new pins, try new descriptions, and see if you can get that to take off. But there's no harm in doing more than one pin per article. It's actually suggested by Pinterest. So our strategy is we find 2 images that we really like that speak to our audience. So this article right here was night jobs you can do from home for extra income. So we're talking to stay-at-home moms, stay-at-home dads. We're talking to families that work opposite shifts. So stuff like that. So we're talking to primarily female stay-at-home moms was our target, which Pinterest, if you don't know this already, Pinterest is like 80% female users. So your content needs to be geared towards the majority of the users. So most of the time you're going to be creating pins that are beautiful, very, very colorful and just feminine. They're going to do much better than if you're making like manly looking pins. So, and that took me a while to learn how to do. So we have a female here, obviously, with some paint or nail polish on her fingers. She's working, it looks like she's working on a couch or a bed, and she's on the computer. And we have nice big letters that are easy to read. 8 legitimate night jobs, perfect for introverts, perfect for stay-at-home moms. So we're literally talking straight to our audience, and our avatar is our stay-at-home moms. So anyone that's looking for a night job or a side hustle and they're searching for this and it comes up, they're going to first see the image. That's the first thing people are going to look at. Then they're going to see this big 8. They're going to keep reading, and they're going to finally get to stay-at-home moms and say, oh, I can relate to that, and click through to it. So we like to find 2 images, like I said. So there's the first image, and we have a second one. This one didn't do very well. I've tested it. This one absolutely killed it. So this one really stood out on Pinterest because it's all black. So making your stuff stand out is good too. And we just have the right wording. So perfect for stay-at-home moms. Again, earn money before Christmas, stuff like that. That's a totally different article. Don't worry about that one. So we find our 2 images. We usually do 2 images, 5 different titles. So I just put the 2 images on, and we start writing out the headlines for each one. So we did 6 for this one. But as you can see, we made 4 with the first image and then 2 with the second. And these ones actually did better after testing. We do use the Co-Scheduler Headline Analyzer. This is a really, really nice tool. I'll link it in the description. But we basically, for any article we write, we try to come up with 10 to 20 headlines, because a headline means absolutely everything. If you have a bad headline and an excellent article, no one's going to click through to it. That includes Google, Pinterest, Facebook, Twitter, any type of marketing. You got to have a click-worthy headline. So making sure that you spend time to make a good headline that's click-worthy is definitely important. If you want some inspiration, BuzzFeed is absolutely incredible at making click-worthy headlines. That's what they've become so successful at. So go to them. Just click around their website quite a bit and you can find them. But the nice thing about this is, these will save. You might need to make a profile, I'm not sure. So this one actually got a terrible headline score. Night legitimate jobs, okay. I'm just going to put that will make you extra money. Excuse me. Okay, so much better. But anytime you use these, it's just going to keep piling them up here. So you can kind of see the score, compare them against each other, pick 5 that you like. And printer's talking. Pick 5 that you like and use those for the pins. And then also pick the best one for the headline, which obviously I need to change that. The last thing here, give me 1 second. All right, so we have our 5 headlines that we're going to use. We're going to create nice looking pins here. Another thing we have a whole video on making pins, which you might want to go check that out. I'm not going to go too in depth on it, but the rule of thirds. So this image, you're kind of pushing it over to the side. So I could move it like that, but we want to make sure there's room for the titles and lettering, and make sure there's good contrast, easy to read. But it works out pretty well. So now you're going to go ahead and click download. We always save JPEG, and I'm going to put 1 to 5, but I already did that. So next is uploading it to your website. So we have our night jobs here. And I'm going to scroll to the bottom. We use Social Warfare, which is a plugin. It's a paid plugin. It's pretty cheap, totally worth it in my opinion. You can change the social media images, hide a Pinterest image behind it, put the Pinterest description. I don't know why my website's acting weird. But so you're going to upload the Pinterest image here. You're going to make sure that there's a nice pin description. So this is your ALT text. And so your Pinterest description, you want to create in a way that is like a super fan. So sorry, the screen's making me dizzy. So instead of writing, this article is so cool on creating or finding night jobs to do with your family and make extra income, blah, blah, you're going to basically write it as a third party. So pretend like you came across this article on Pinterest and now you're going to write about it and you absolutely loved it. It changed your life. So writing it as a super fan. So my description was, these part-time night jobs are perfect for stay-at-home moms. I've been looking everywhere for a flexible job that I can work around my busy schedule. So many awesome ideas to make extra money and still be the best mom I can be. Pin this for other stay-at-home moms. So again, talking to that audience. And then we have hashtags in here, hashtag stay-at-home mom, side hustle, night jobs, part-time jobs, flexible jobs, work from home jobs. So just our keywords here. And that usually works really well when you create your pinned descriptions as a super fan. And then we also go through in any image that we have. So this one would have the same Pinterest description as well. So that's going to be uploaded to the site, and a finished product is going to look like this. If we scroll down to the bottom, so it embeds it at the bottom here, and I have a nice pin it button, which is another plugin, I believe, or it might be Social Warfare. But if they were to select pin here, it's going to pull up all the Pinterest information and be ready to go. So now is a very important step. You want to make sure that you are pinning to relevant boards that are good. So when I say that are good, I mean that they have a good virality score. I'm going to show you how to find that in Tailwind, but making sure that you're not pinning it to like Christmas pins or crockpot cooking, because it has nothing to do with it. It's going to kill your reach right off the bat. So stuff like this, we have a make money board. That's going to be the very first one I do. It's our own personal board. I always like to pin to our personal boards first and then pin to group boards and move along like that. But so I would pin to this, and I'm not going to do that because I already did, and there's too many on that one. But making sure that you're pinning to a relevant board that is actually performing good. And that's going to be your best, the pin you think is going to do the best is the one I usually embed on the website. And then after testing, we can go back and change it if it's not. So now I'm going to go to uploading it to Tailwind. So in your Tailwind account here, you're going to be under drafts, and you can create a new pin, upload images, and this makes it super easy. You can do them all at once. I usually change the title that I rename them to our keyword. Not sure if that matters for Pinterest, but for SEO and Google search, it definitely does. So I do the same for Pinterest. So I would put stay-at-home job, night job, all that type of stuff. And now it's going to bring up our 5 images here. And let's see. So first thing we want is our description. So we're going to go back into the post, scroll down to the bottom. Oh, taking forever to load. Scroll down to the bottom, grab your Pinterest description and input it. Now, if you want, you can test out two different Pinterest descriptions, but for now, when we first start, we like to just try the one to see if it works. You also need to make sure that you have the right URL, because right now it's only pointing to the Savvy Couple. So going through, making sure these are all correct. Now next, you want to figure out which boards you're going to go to. And you can't really do that unless you have Tailwind board list set up correctly. So this is a huge key in our Pinterest strategy. And let's see if I can get there. Board Insights. So this Board Insights tab is going to be huge for you. This is one of the most important reasons to get Tailwind and to figure out which boards are performing well. So like I said before, if you're pinning to bad boards, it's not going to work. And back to this, you want good performing pins on good boards. So if you have good pins and you're putting them on crappy boards, they're not going to do much for you. So what I like to do is get rid of the secret boards here. I'll have group boards and regular boards selected. And I also like to do a 30-day period. So I expand that to 30 days. And we go ahead and sort by the virality score. That's going to be your number one analytic to look at. So make sure that you look at this virality score, but the more important thing is the last 30 days. So this elf on a shelf, holiday elf on a shelf, the last 30 days, there's been 327 pins and 1,300 repins. So that has a really good virality score right now. Best slow cooker recipes is a group board. Anyone with the 3 people logo is a group board. 794 pins and 56,000 repins with a virality score of 43. So this board is super hot right now. It's absolutely killing it. And we'll just keep going down. So I'm going to go down to the bottom where they're not as good. And let's see here. So DIY Money Hacks, this is our group board. It's kind of tanked since we've stopped pinning to it. But so 178 repins, or I'm sorry, 178 pins and only 37 repins and a virality score. This is a lifetime virality score of 0.68. So that board is not a board that you want to be pinning to because there's far more pins than repins. So the engagement score is pretty low. Another one, Feeding Frugal Families. 9,000, so it's a fast moving board, 9,000 repins in the last 30 days and only 7,800, 9,000 pins, 7,800 repins. So again, it's got a negative virality score. It's not 1 or higher. You want it to be 1 or higher for sure. And that just makes sense. Like if you're pinning to a board that a lot of people are pinning to and no one's repinning, Pinterest is going to say that board is not valuable. The pins on it are not good. The people the users of Pinterest are not liking what is on that board. So they're going to stop showing that and spreading your pin to other places. So making sure that you are on good group boards is very, very important. So group boards and personal boards. So you can even come in here and we're just going to look at our regular boards. So our best of board, like I said, we only put our best pins on that. We have a virality score of 28, which is awesome. Fitness workouts is good. Camping ideas, Christmas, so 13 pins, 41 repins. That's a seasonal board that is starting to pick up because it's the 1st of November or the 3rd of November now. And just going along, you can see that all of these are basically above a 1 besides the Make Money Blogging, which is a very niche down board. But still, it's 30 for 30. The last 30 days, it's doing pretty good. Not too bad. So just keeping an eye on your overall health of your boards that you're pinning to is super important. And one thing that I do every single month is I will come in and do the same thing that I just did. So I'll do the last 30 days. I'll switch it to group boards and regular boards, and we will start building out and checking our board lists. And this is a huge time saver with Tailwind. So one by one, I will go through each one of our board lists so you can categorize what you pin the most of. So saving money, we pin a ton of content on that, our own content and other people's content. And I'll talk about our scheduling in a minute. We have a Christmas board list, home hacks, make money, fitness, camping. So you can just see all these. And I know personally, because I go through every single month and check to make sure we're not pinning to any boards that are underperforming by simply going through this holiday elf on a shelf. That should be a board that we're pinning to. It's pretty niche down, so I don't have a board list of it, but I'll make a mental note that we should be pinning to that, and I'll start scheduling pins to that board. Slow cooker recipes, we have a group board or a group list of best slow cooker recipes, crockpot, slow and steady. So I know all of these are good performing boards, and they're going to help the engagement on our pins when we upload them and pin them. And Pinterest is going to like that, and they're going to spread the pin throughout Pinterest instead of devalue them by having boards that are underperforming. So if you're scrolling through the bottom and you see like this board, it's got 57,000 followers, so a good amount of followers, but it has basically a 0.5 virality score over the last 30 days, and over the lifetime it's at a 0.6. So this is a board that you don't want to be pinning to. It's got terrible engagement, and it's kind of a waste of your time, and you're going to be hurting your pin's chances of taking off. So since this board has such a long history, so 0.64 lifetime over the last 30 days, it's not been doing well. This is a board that I will put on watch basically for a couple months. And if it continues to underperform and never really take off, then I will leave the board. It's not worth having it. I know it takes tons of time to get on the group boards, but at the end of the day, if it's not helping you, what's the point of being on it? So this is one that I have made a mental note now that I'm going to check. I think I've been watching it for a while, so I'm probably going to get off of it after I'm done making this video. Our group board here, this is something that I need to consider either giving to someone else or stop using altogether, because that is really tanked as well. Group boards are actually pretty hard to keep engaged. You really got to stay on top of what people are pinning. Same thing with all these. So making sure that the ones that have a bad virality score over the last 30 days are not going to be on your board lists. And the ones that have a very good score, that are hot, that people are repinning like crazy to, make sure that you're pinning to those that month, and they're on your board list to make it easy to schedule. So hopefully that makes sense. So now we're back to here, and the nice thing about this is I know that all these boards are going to have make money. So they are already all scheduled for that. And I don't have very many make money boards. So they save money. I can probably find a few that are on the borderline of not just saving money, but just being financially sound. So I can find some in there. This do-it-yourself board is always pretty good, and it's kind of like a catch-all, which is surprising because most catch-all boards that you can pin basically anything to don't perform well. The more niche down boards are performing much better now compared to like 6 months ago, but this one is still doing really well, so I know that that's a quality board to pin to. So basically, you're going to give all these a chance with all the boards that are relevant, and you're going to make sure that you already went through, and you make sure when you're pinning your first time that you go through and you're going to pin this pin that's on your website to as many relevant boards as possible first, so that Pinterest knows that URL and those pins are that on that topic. So you're giving Pinterest those signals that it needs to know what the topic is about and who it should show it to. You're basically making it easy for Pinterest. So next, I like to add it to the tribe. So I'll pick one that I like, stay-at-home moms, add to tribe. So these are tribes that we've been a part of for a while. I know that we're getting value from them. So when we're pinning to them, we're getting repins. and people on them are awesome. They have really nice pins that we also pin their own. Like, obviously we've pinned 378 times and only pinned 50 of our own. And we try to do that with all of them. Basically, definitely resharing more than we're asking others to share ours. But so like this one, I can go on the personal finance. I can go on making sense. I can go power pins, and then you just add them to the tribe. We have found tribes work pretty well. They're kind of like group boards. So if you're not on a bunch of group boards, you can use tribes to help you get that reach that you don't have when you don't have very many followers and you're just getting started. This is a good way to get in front of a lot of people, and hopefully your pin's looking good and it's a good article that people are going to help you repin it on those tribes. And then as far as Smart Scheduler, let me talk about that for a minute. So any social media platform that does a change like Smart Loop or adds a feature, we always take it pretty slow because you never want to kind of jump into it too quick. You don't know what's going to happen, especially with Board Booster going down by doing basically this auto looping. That's not what Pinterest wants. Pinterest wants their users to be hands-on and not do a set it and forget it type of thing. So right now I set up a bunch of different loops, but we're only doing our best pins loop. And we just started doing it. So the virality score's not too good yet. I think that should pick up. But basically we're going to use this board to put this on automatic. So we're going to make sure that our very best pins are going to the very best boards. So we have, sorry if you can hear the train. We have 5, let's see here. I'll go into edit loop. So I named it our best pins, and I put on our best boards that are all relevant to the same topic. So they're all about money, saving money, or lifestyle hacks. So we have our best boards here, and it's an all year round loop. And we're going to go to next. And we want it to pin 2 times a day. So out of the 2 slots, it's going to pin twice a day, and it's going to wait to publish the same pin to different board 3 days. So it won't publish the same pin to a different board within a 3-day period. So we only have, I think, 7 pins on this loop, and it's going to take 2 months to go through it. So it's definitely not spammy. It's going to take its time, but you're going to make sure that you're not forgetting to pin these really good performing pins to the best boards. And as you can see in our schedule, that's the green little rotation circle here. We have a pin there, a pin there. So twice a day, you're going to grab 2 different pins to pin to those group boards, and then it's going to wait to pin to the next board at least 3 days in between. So this is something that you can test out for yourself. Again, you just want to make sure your pins that are doing well are getting on your best boards. That's what's going to drive the most traffic. And another thing to think about. So not all your articles are going to do good on Pinterest. Lifestyle articles definitely do better than personal finance articles. That's something to consider. Personal finance articles are much better on Facebook ads, Twitter, Instagram. Not really Instagram. Instagram's not very good for traffic. Neither is Twitter. So Facebook, possibly Reddit, LinkedIn, those are the places where your people are going to be hanging out. Obviously, people do look for personal finance stuff on Pinterest, especially near the new year when people are trying to get their finances in order. But as far as what people are searching Pinterest for, it's definitely food, lifestyle hacks, organizational stuff, printables, budget meals, all the different types of stuff like stay-at-home moms and just families females are looking for. So Christmas stuff, just more lifestyle stuff is going to do much better on Pinterest. And I wanted to just explain that. Where am I now? So we've gone over how to upload your new pins, how to pick which boards are performing well for you, how to add them to the tribe, adding them to Smart Loop. Like I said, we're just starting to test that out, so I'm not sure if it's going to be something that we use. We're taking it slow because you don't want to get your account banned for being too spammy, which we've seen a bunch get banned lately, which is kind of scary. So always just, anytime there's a new feature, take it slow, figure it out if it's working for you, and just don't jump all in on it. And what else here? Okay, so now we're going to pick, so I like this one the best. So I'm going to pick use interval, and weekends always do very well. So anytime I have a new pin going out, I like to test it on the weekends. I don't like to test that on a Tuesday night or Wednesday night. I like to do Saturday or Sunday, middle of the day, or late at night. But I'll do like a 12 p.m. or 1 p.m. So 1 p.m., minimum time in between each pin, I do 10 minutes, and I optimize it. So it's going to optimize the time to pin these, set interval. So now this pin is going to go to these 3 boards starting at 1 o'clock, so in 1 hour, in 5 minutes. And it's going to go to these 3 boards optimized for the schedule that we have set up. So I would just literally hit schedule, and it's going to put it right into our schedule. And then I'll go to another one, and I will use interval. And let's say I want it, you always want to make sure there's a gap, so I wouldn't want to go Sunday and do the same pin again, or else your board's going to look like my make money board, which I'm going to go back through and fix. So I'm going to say like 4 days in between. And since it's on a weekday night, I'm going to go, we found that after 7 p.m., you got to think about your user. So most users are moms that are with their families, and they have to put the kids to bed around 7 o'clock. So after 7 o'clock works really well because the kids are in bed and mom might be on the phone searching through. So after 7 works. And then schedule. And I'll just go through and do that for all of these. And if I'm coming back through, I'll show you that in a second. So basically scattering them out so it's not spammy, putting them all on all the group boards, and then figuring out if they're performing well. So now the key is, how do you test to make sure that you're getting traffic from them? There's 2 ways to do this. You can go into your pin inspector. Hopefully I didn't miss anything on that. Pretty sure I covered everything. Yes, we'll leave the site. So into this pin inspector, you're going to see exactly what pins are doing well. It's going to give you the analytics of it and show you exactly what's doing well. You can also use Pinterest, and you can also use Google Analytics. You should be doing all of those. So I am going to show you analytics here. Get that up and going. I'll get Pinterest up and going. Give me 1 second while I set it up. Okay, so we're back into Tailwind and Pin Inspector. So this basically shows you over the period that's up here, the dates, which pins are getting repinned and which boards they were on. So it's been the fall season, the last month or so. So our fall recipes article has done really well. 399 repins, 278, 209. And these are all the same article, and it looks like they're all coming from the quick, easy meals. So we know this is a pin that is doing really well, and it's doing really well on the quick, easy meals. So we're just going to go ahead and reschedule it. So you can go ahead, pick a date, pick a time, hit schedule. You can also save it to draft. So that's something I like to do. And once you save it to your draft, it makes it easier so you can start, since it's a proven pin, you can schedule it to more than just the quick, easy meals. And I know that all these food boards on my food board list are good performing boards, so I don't mind pinning it to them. Just make sure that it's relevant and it's not like an Instapot meal where you could get banned, that it is going to be working. It's able to work on those boards. So now I have it on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 boards instead of just the 1. Again, I'm going to use the intervals. And let's do Sunday at 2:24, optimize 10 minutes, set interval. And I'm going to go ahead and schedule it. So there we go. Now it's going up tomorrow, and it's got a bunch of different times and boards that it's going to, not just the one. So you can go ahead and do that a couple times. You can reschedule and set it out so you schedule it like 2 months out in advance where it's continuing to repin, or you can possibly put it into a pin looper or the smart loop scheduler, which we might test out. But again, comes back to the Pinterest success paper. Best pins on the best boards. So if you're pinning it to a board that continues to get success and it's getting repins and getting click-throughs, then continue to pin it to that board. And do it as much as you can before you get spammy. So like I said on the make money board, there's way too many that were like lined up right next to each other. But if you can space them out where you have to scroll like 3 pages and then you see it, and then scroll another 3 pages, see it, that's fine. No one's gonna get upset about that. So just scrolling down, this night jobs, 47 repins, and it was on the do-it-yourself board. So again, we can reschedule it. You can also add it to your tribe, and you can add it to the smart loop. So this just makes it super easy in the pin inspector to see which pins are doing well. But this is only one piece of the puzzle because this is only showing repins, and you really want click-throughs because you want people on your site, not just repinning. But this is showing that it is getting engagement. The board that you're pinning to is working. So like I said, keep doing that formula. The next piece of the puzzle, we use all 3 of the analytics, is Pinterest. So we just went into Pinterest or analytics overview, and now activity from the Savvy Couple. And we're going to click on clicks here, show more. So this is going to show you, I think, like 30 pins over the last 30 days that are getting the most clicks. So this pin alone's gotten 4,800 clicks, 3,200 clicks, 2,000 clicks. This is our easy fall porch ideas. You can open up that and see what it is. So 15 fall porch ideas that you must try. And let's go ahead, and another little hack here, you can schedule it. So if it's performing well, what do you want to do? Keep it going. So you're going to put pin it to the fall boards again. And I just know them off the top of my head, but kind of pin them, interval, schedule it, same thing. You can add it to the tribe, you can smart loop it. This is also a little side caveat. This is a hack that we used last month. So we had this pin going viral. And since we have gotten pretty good with Facebook ads, I was like, all right, I'm going to see if I can throw some Facebook ad money at it and get people to the article to repin it, because people like to repin stuff like this. And it actually worked out really well. We had over 120,000 page views to this article alone by using that strategy. We have a video on that, link in the description. So let's go back. So just scrolling through, again, like I said, lifestyle articles kill it on Pinterest. Getting personal finance articles to really take off is a much more difficult challenge. But this night jobs article, 300 clicks, 300 clicks. And this is one individual pin. So it can be the same exact pin that has the same cover or the same photo, same title, same description, but they're different pins because they've been repinned. And anytime something gets repinned, it gets a different URL. So basically going through these and seeing which pins are doing well and rescheduling them to boards that are performing well, that you went and took the time on your board insights to make sure that they are performing well. Again, good performing pins on the best boards. So any type of strategy you can do to get to that, that's where you're going to find the success. It might be totally different than what I'm telling you, but this is what we have found to work best. So now we're on to the Google Analytics. So this is by far the most important thing, is getting click-throughs. If you don't have Google Analytics set up on your website, make sure you do that. There's a bunch of different YouTube tutorials or videos on doing that. So I went into acquisition, all traffic, channels, and now we're on to social, organic, direct, referral. So it's breaking down where our traffic is coming from in sessions, and this is over the last 30 days I put up there. So we've had 84,500 in social, 36,000 in Google search, which incredible, If you're blogging for the long-term game, make sure you're figuring out how to do SEO. That is incredible traffic to get. It's free. It's very relevant. People are using it to search for topics that you've written about. So take the time to learn SEO. Seriously, it's important. We'll put a link down below. Mike Pearson has an incredible course called Stupid Simple SEO. It's really taken us from getting like 1,000 page views a month from search engine traffic to close to 40,000, and it just continues to grow. Anyways, back to Pinterest here. So social, we know there's 63,000, 64,000 almost from Pinterest. So we're going to go ahead and click Pinterest. All right, this is not how you do it. 1 second. Okay, so I was close. So it's acquisition, all traffic, referrals, not channels. And once you get into there, back up one section here. Once you get into there, it's going to break down. So Pinterest, Rockstar Finance, mobile friendly, or mobile, Facebook, Pinterest. So you're going to go Pinterest.com, and these are the pins that are driving the most traffic. So you can literally open this up and see exactly which pin is getting those 2,800 clicks. So again, it's the fall porch. And I'm going to go ahead and assume that most of these are that pin. So I'm going to go down a few here. Open up another one. Yep. So you might have to scroll through and go a couple pages down if you have a pin going viral. But you can come in here and click and see, okay, this pin drove 307 clicks the last month. So it's 15 ways to make your car cleaner than ever. So go ahead and schedule that because you know it's getting click-throughs, and you can probably find group boards or regular boards that it's going to perform well on. So basically doing this is making sure that you are not only finding the pins that are getting repinned, but now you're also making sure that they're getting click-throughs and they're on good boards that are getting engaged on. So they're relevant. So you're pinning your pins to relevant boards that are performing well, getting engagement. They're not just getting killed by Pinterest algorithm. It's showing Pinterest, this is a good article. People are clicking on it. People are repinning it. People are commenting on it. They're engaging with it. So Pinterest is going to keep that algorithm going and keep you going to search and just referral, all that type of stuff to show your pin to more people. So if you can get in the good graces of any type of search engine, Google, Pinterest, it's awesome. So yeah, just kind of going through, and you can also, so when I have, let's see, when I have a pin that I wanted to test for a month, I'll go through and I'll minimize it down to like a month. So this, it'll bring up like stuff that I've been testing, hopefully because it got repinned. But you can see, you can find the pins a little bit easier when you reduce it down. But this night job had done pretty well. And obviously the fall stuff is still doing really well. So that is pretty much it. I think I've covered pretty much everything. So it really comes down to making good pins, good content, making sure there's good headlines, it's got a good picture, you're speaking to your avatar when you're making your pins, and your titles and your descriptions. So really, it's all these puzzle pieces put together, and then, so say the stuff that you can control, you put all that stuff together, now you're going to pin it to boards and let Pinterest do its thing. Make sure that they're relevant group boards, they have good Pinterest descriptions, they're telling Pinterest exactly what the article is about, what the pin is about. Group boards are not dead. They're still working very well for us. So I would recommend trying to get on a few that are performing well and really making your personal boards very niche down instead of broad like baking. Let's do like fast baking or easy baking, baking with your kids, just niche it down even more. The more relevant and niche down, the better for Pinterest. As they move into more of a search, even more of a search engine. This should have helped, and it takes time to learn. You're going to need to figure out your own strategy. You're going to need to test 10 different Pinterest images for an article, 20 different images, until you can figure out what images work with your audience, what's getting repinned, which boards they're working well on, and just finding that overall strategy that works for you. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. This is going to be up on our YouTube channel, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this. It gives you a little insight on what our strategy is to drive, close to 100,000 page views a month and what's been working for us. If you have any questions, comment below. I'll be happy to answer them. See ya.